Sometimes our hope for a better tomorrow is darkened by a lack of understanding. Sometimes it is hard to know what to expect when we are overwhelmed and confused. In today's lesson, we will see how Gabriel helped Daniel understand his vision. After Daniel's vision of the four beasts, he sees another. The vision is about a ram, a goat, and a little horn. The ram had two horns on his head, one higher than the other, and was standing by the river. He pushed northward, southward, and westward, and no other animal could defeat him. As Daniel was considering the vision of the ram, a goat with one horn came from the west and charged the ram. He tore the ram's two horns, making it powerless and defeating it. The goat lost his one horn, and four horns grew in its place. Out of one of the four, a little horn grew toward heaven and cast down some of the angelic host. Daniel was baffled by the vision, and God sent the angel Gabriel to interpret it, which brings us to our key verse for today, which reads, "This vision about the 2,300 evenings and mornings is true, but none of these things will happen for a long time, so keep the vision a secret." Daniel chapter 8, verse 26. In verse 16, just prior to our passage, Daniel hears, but does not see, God speaking with the voice of a man to the angel Gabriel in what is known as an epiphany, or pre-incarnate appearance of Christ. Daniel's response is to fall prostrate, like John before Jesus in Revelation chapter 1, verse 17. But Gabriel prefers that he stand. The entirety of our passage consists of Gabriel's message. In verse 19, the term the indignation refers to Epiphanes' destruction of Jerusalem, the butchering of 80,000 Jews, and his vile desecration of the temple, where he not only erected a statue of Zeus Olympios, but sacrificed pigs on the holy altar. For Jews, all these acts were appalling, but none was a greater abomination than blasphemy in their temple. Just as Daniel's dream was interpreted, so was his vision. The animals of chapter 8, verse 3 and 5 fit their roles in history. The two-horned ram, which is the unified kingdoms of Media and Persia, were no match for the one-horned he-goat, that is, the kingdom of the Greeks led by Alexander the Great. As history informs us, Alexander's rise to world domination was meteoric but short-lived, as after only 13 years in power, he died prematurely from a fever at age 32. With Greece's goat king broken, his four Andorals divided in his kingdom, but none would approach Alexander's greatness. Epiphanes magnifies himself like sin itself, which is always self-centered and never God-centered. His activity is the embryonic form of an evil that all antichrists perpetrate in one form or another. He destroys through peace because he is a master of treachery and deception, like a master con artist. Satan and his ilk are known to transform themselves into angels of light or messengers of righteousness, which in this use in the Greek means assuming a disguise, but this is not the same Greek word as in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, which says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind," which means to be changed or transfigured, as Jesus was in Matthew 17, verse 2. So security is rooted in God himself and not in anything made by people. In this light, especially for New Testament believers, the hope of a future eternal Jerusalem and permanent temple, of which the former were only prototypes, is as real as the very presence of God that sustains our faith. Ultimately, all believers have the hope that evil will be overcome and justice will prevail. This is true regardless of the length of the wait or the pain that ensues. The hope that sustains is the core assurance that the day is coming soon when every form of evil will be completely and permanently brought to an end. So here's our lesson. Daniel was perplexed about the vision he saw, but Gabriel cleared it up for him. Do we ask others for help, or are we always trying to work things out on our own? The person who does not ask for help is either prideful, suffering from low self-esteem, afraid of rejection, or just a glutton for punishment. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not of weakness. So let's challenge ourselves to ask someone to help us with a problem we've dealt with for too long.